Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Miami Heat fallen from title favorites to wild card contenders? The Miami Heat are expected to appear in the play-in tournament for the third consecutive season, 2 years removed from an NBA Finals appearance. There are two reasons for this heavy drop in expectations: health and the inability to retain depth. Still, Bleacher Report admits it's impossible to count out the Heat entirely, naming them as a wild card championship contender. Because Heat culture. Are we done here? B/R's Grant Hughes wrote. Okay, maybe we need a little more justification than that. But it's not the worst idea to blindly trust Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and whatever toughness-injecting, post-season grit-amplifying serum the Heat distribute in their post-practice smoothies. As Heat legend Udonis Haslem recently noted, coach Erik Spoelstra thrives with his back against the ropes. Even if the Heat are once again struggling with injuries, Spoelstra and company will find a way to sneak into the postseason. If the Heat's 2023 finals run proved anything, most teams hope to avoid them early in the playoffs. These guys have a history of figuring out how to defy odds and beat absolutely anyone in a playoff series, Hughes wrote. Picking them to overperform has historically been a wise move. 3 stars the Heat nearly traded for that could have led to a championship. All things considered, Jimmy Butler's arrival in South Florida has brought a lot of success to the Miami Heat franchise. They have gone to a pair of NBA Finals and were seconds away from making a third, all in a 5-year span. Doing so has come in serious underdog fashion, as those finals runs featured the Heat reaching that far as a 5th and 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. As impressive as it's been to pull off such impressive postseason performances, Miami has come up short of the ultimate goal. These playoff memories will never be forgotten by Heat fans, but the fact that they have not gotten the job done has been painful. With that being said, it has been clear that this team has been missing just one more key piece to get them over the hump. Due to cap restrictions, the Heat's front office has banked on health and internal growth to improve year over year. They very much like this roster and have made that notion known by repeatedly running back their core and giving them more chances to capture that elusive title. The problem is that this group may be running out of time as Butler approaches his 35th birthday. However, that's not to say that Pat Riley and company haven't had their fair share of chances to look to the outside market to bring in help and more star power. Here are the 3 players who have been linked to the Heat in trade rumors that could have led to an overdue championship title. Donovan Mitchell, Indiana. Both 2022 and 2024, current Cleveland Cavaliers star Donovan Mitchell was connected to the Heat in trade rumors. Firstly, and more realistically, out of the 2 years, Mitchell was looking for a change of scenery from the Utah Jazz in the summer of 2022. His run in Salt Lake City has reached its peak after being drafted there years prior. The off-season content that featured him and Bam Adebayo working out together often led to Heat fans salivating over the possibility of a Heat and Mitchell pairing. Once Mitchell became available on the trade market, there was mutual interest. But nothing ultimately materialized and he was sent to the Cavs. Fast forward to this past season, and Mitchell was due for a contract extension. It was widely speculated that if he didn't end up signing with Cleveland, he would soon hit the trade market for the second time in 2 years. Reports again mentioned Mitchell's interest in playing in Miami if he doesn't come to a contract extension with Cleveland. That pipe dream vanished quickly once more, as he came to terms with a lucrative new contact there that he couldn't pass up. Kevin Durant. Out of all the options of a third star coming aboard to complement Butler and Adebayo, Kevin Durant would have surely been the biggest needle mover. Durant, a 2-time NBA champion and former league MVP, is viewed as a certified Hall of Famer and one of the greatest scoring talents of all time. His entire offensive skill set and length defensively would have provided the Heat with the most pitch-perfect superstar acquisition to lead to a championship. Miami had their chance in 2022 and even pivoted to the notion of a Durant acquisition as soon as Mitchell wound up with Cleveland. The coveted star forward became available after submitting a trade request from the Brooklyn Nets. There were off-the-court issues there with former teammate Kyrie Irving, and injury issues with James Harden that stunted the Nets' big three from reaching their own potential. It was clear that Durant's tenure in Brooklyn didn't go as planned and he wanted out sooner rather than later. Miami had a prime opportunity to pounce on this situation, but the lack of showing more aggressiveness to get a deal done along with Brooklyn trying to force Durant to stick around made any potential trade fall through. He would eventually be moved at the following trade deadline to the Phoenix Suns, and Miami questionably wasn't even involved prior to that Suns deal unfolding. Damian Lillard, the most excruciatingly painful trade rumor as a Heat fan, came with Damian Lillard just one summer ago. The Heat were coming off yet another finals run at the time and were at their best, and possibly last, positioned to acquire that missing piece to finally win it all. Lillard formally requested a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers and specifically had Miami as his only preferred trade destination. A potential pairing between the two parties would have provided Miami with a bona fide star backcourt scorer to a team that lacked point guard depth. There was also a public close relationship both on and off the court Lillard and Adebayo over the years. The fact that no other teams were even on Lillard's radar made it almost certain that the Heat were finally going to get a blockbuster deal done. In what was their last realistic chance at capitalizing on Butler's window, the Heat and Lillard fumbled the opportunity. Trade talks never happened in good faith as Cronin was reportedly disinclined to grant Lillard his wish. Instead, Cronin traded him to the Milwaukee Bucks in a three-team deal involving the Suns. The Heat were left empty-handed. Proposed trade sends Golden State Warriors icon Stephen Curry to Miami Heat. It was always meant to be a happy ending for Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors. But recent events have raised doubts about that. Could it lead to the greatest shooter in basketball history pulling on a Miami Heat jersey someday? Klay Thompson left the Warriors this summer. That would have been unthinkable a few years back, but he just has not looked the same player since suffering those two major injuries. Thompson's exit broke up his iconic trio with Curry and Draymond Green, which brought 4 championships to the Warriors. It was sad to see Thompson leave the Warriors, but at the same time, it was not hard to understand why the decision made sense for both parties. But when a legend like him leaves, the least the fans expect is for someone to be brought in who can improve the team as a whole and help them get back into contention. The Warriors failed to do that this summer and do not look anywhere near being championship contenders. They were believed to be interested in Paul George, but a trade package could not be agreed. This all has now led to speculation about Curry's future with the franchise. In an article on TWSN, Marissa Myers proposed a trade that would see Curry join the Heat while the Warriors would receive Tyler Herro, Nikola Jovic, 2025 first-round pick and 2027 first-round pick. Of course, one would think that the Warriors would do everything possible to keep Curry. He is still playing at an MVP level and is coming off winning Olympic gold with Team USA. Curry leaving would not only be a blow to the Warriors on the court but to their global popularity as well. In an ideal world, Curry will retire with the Warriors. A one-team legend like Kobe Bryant, Dirk Nowitzki, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan and Magic Johnson. But never say never in basketball. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Stephen Curry? Leave your opinion in the comments.